All right, how's it going, Music Warriors? Mr. Maschmeier, Mr. Barry with you again today. We are continuing on with our exciting theory of note names. All right, this is where we're going to get to learn how to go above and below the staff with both the treble clef and the bass clef. Take it away, Mr. Barry.
All right, so you should have that assignment up, but we're going to go ahead and share screens now and pull it up. And actually, I got a ton of erasing to do on here, I forgot. So bear with me a second, guys, while I erase everything off of here.
Doobie-doobie-doo. All right, so we go to classwork. We go to assignment number 22, note reading. This is the fantastic Jamboard of the Google Classroom, and I am going to blow it up just a little bit.
Okay, guys, so at the top of the page here, at the top of this worksheet, we have what's already been given to us. So the placements of the notes for the treble clef for both lines and spaces, and for the bass clef for both lines and spaces, okay? So let's look at the first line here. We're actually going to circle the first one. Well, actually, no, let's do this. So someone answer this question for me, just looking at the treble clef lines. The first note here, what line number is that on?
What line number, gang?
Thank you, Mr. Stewart. You're correct. 1. It is on line number 1.
Very good.
Definitely. Very important that you guys understand where line 1 is and where line 5 is. So who can tell me what note is on line 5 for the treble clef? Give me the letter.
No.
Yeah, very good.
Correct. So the top line in the staff of the treble clef will be an F. Okay.
So that means you can fill them in between. G is on 2, B is on 3, D is on 4.
Okay, so now let's kind of look at the spaces.
Every good boy does fine.
Every good boy does fine, absolutely. And then for the spaces for the treble clef, we actually spell the word face going from the bottom space to the top space. Okay, so.
And it's just the same.
Pretty much the same. So this will obviously be, the F would be in the first space, and E would be in the fourth space, which would make A space 2 and C space 3.
There we go.
Okay, so now bass clef notes. Now this is definitely going to be different than the treble clef notes. The placement of the note is going to be different, okay?
That's very important to note.
So let's look at the same.
Pun intended.
Right. So one more time, just to kind of recap, the phrase that helps us remember the placement of the notes for the lines for the treble clef is every good boy does fine. But for the bass clef, we're actually going to use what they have here on the worksheet. Great big dragons fly around. So that's an easy phrase that can help us to remember the placement of the notes for the bass clef. So line 1, someone turn the microphone on and tell me what letter is on line 1 for the bass clef?
G.
Very good, G.
And then what about line 4? Line 4 of the bass clef is what letter?
F.
Yeah, very good.
So yeah, very good, guys. Very easy to distinguish the difference between the notes there. So now let's look at the bass clef notes. There are 4 notes here. The phrase that we have for the bass clef, for the spaces, excuse me, is all cows eat grass. Okay, all cows eat grass. Who can remind us of the one that I used yesterday about cars? Does anyone remember that one?
Was it all cars eat? Wait, all cars eat gas?
Yes.
That's right. All cars eat gas. Very similar, but if you're a motorhead like me, that one stuck in my brain better.
Oh yeah, most definitely. So use whichever one, suits you best. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and look right here. We're gonna circle the first one so everyone knows where we are. So yeah, the clef is a treble clef. So before we identify the pitch for this first note here for the treble clef, who can tell me what line number is that note on? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What line number?
2.
2.
Very good, choir. 2
is correct. So now I'm going to go ahead and scroll up here to the lines for the treble clef, and the one that falls on the second line is what letter, class? What letter is it?
G.
So that's what you would draw on that line, okay?
Looky there, you're getting free answers.
So that's what you're going to do for this line that has a treble clef at the beginning of it. You're going to use the two treble clefs. You're going to use the treble clef lines and spaces to identify all of those different notes there in that line. The next line that starts with the bass clef, let's circle the first note there. So who can tell me on the next line here that Mr. Maschmeier is circling now, what, that obviously is not on a line, what space number is that in? 1, 2, 3, or 4?
3.
Very good. 3.
So for the bass clef, not the treble clef, we're using the bass clef now. Who can tell me what letter goes in space 3 for the bass clef?
C.
Nope. C is number 2.
If it were E is correct. Now, if it were a treble clef, then yes, the answer would be C, but it's not a treble clef. Very important that you check the clef and know exactly where you're pulling your answers from.
Yep.
Okay.
C, because in the treble clef, the third space up is in fact a C.
Yes.
But in the bass clef, the third space up is an
It's an
E.
Okay.
Okay, remember, make sure that you've got the correct clef. The bass clef looks like an ear, and the treble clef looks like a figure 8.
Okay, guys, now we're going to talk about the challenge. Yes, the challenge is a part of the assignment. It is not extra credit, guys. You're expected to complete this, okay? So really pay attention right now because some of you are going to get stumped up on this. Please pay attention so that that does not happen. So we're going to start with the first clef. Let's talk about what we already know. So this is what we already know. The lines of the staff for treble clef is every good boy does fine, E, G, B, D, F. Okay. And then the spaces, when we add them together with both lines and spaces, this is something that we will see. Okay. So you'll see that we start here. Line 1 is an E, all the way up to line 5, which is an F. But if I were to say all of the notes going from line 1 in sequence all the way up to line 4, this is what I would be saying. And I want you to listen because I want you to tell me what the pattern is. E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F. So that would be the order of the notes. So guys, what you see the pattern here? Who can talk about that real quick? What do we see?
What's the pattern?
Anyone?
It's like the pattern of the alphabet.
It is the alphabet.
Thank you. So as we go upward, up the staff, we are reciting the alphabet, but whenever we get to G, we start over with A.
Because there's only 7 notes in the musical alphabet.
Correct. So whenever we get to G, we start over at A. So E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And guys, the reason why we're doing this is going to help it or make it easier to determine the notes above the staff, which we have for the challenge. So let's look at the first one. Ms. Maschmeier is going to circle the first one so that everyone knows where we are. So someone tell me specifically, where is that note on the staff? Is it above the staff? Is it on line 4?
Below the staff.
Below the staff.
Below line 1 of the staff, most definitely. So someone remind me again, what letter was on line 1 of the staff?
What letter is on line 1? E, correct.
So we see, well, let me do this. I'm going to actually draw a note on here where E is so that we can see how this note is the next one down.
Okay. What letter comes before E in the alphabet?
D.
D.
D. So
number 1 is a D.
That would make that one a D most definitely.
Mr. Maschmeier,
Yes.
Camille asked, did you get her message?
Camilla. I don't see a message, no.
Maybe she emailed or something. Okay.
Okay.
Put it under her assignment.
Oh,
no, not yet. We're not to that point yet. Okay. Tell her she's just going to have to wait a second.
okay.
Okay.
So that's going down. So whenever you guys are identifying notes that are below the staff, we go backwards in the alphabet. So
take a look, everybody. The last treble clef note, I'm going to circle it. The last treble clef note, okay, if you notice it, it is on a line that is called a ledger line. Now we know that this note here is a D. So what note is before D in the alphabet?
C.
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 So that one is
makes
C.
That one a C. Guys, do you see how that one went down one line from the D?
Yep.
So D was in the bottom space, and then the C right here that Mr. Maschmeier just drew is on the first ledger line below that space.
Okay.
Okay, so if we go down one more, which is the next one, the one that he's circling right now, from C, what letter would this be?
B.
What letter would it be?
What letter would it be?
He gave it to you. What letter would
And
this
actually,
be?
yeah, they called on and said
Okay.
it correctly. So yes, it would be a B. So that's what you do, guys, going down, and then you do the same going up. But
Just
when you
backwards.
right when you go down, it's backwards. Okay, you're doing the alphabet backwards. But as you ascend or go upward, you are going in order.
That's
For
right.
lack of better words, I guess.
So then we kind of do the same thing for bass clef. We'll start with this guy right here. You see that it's
So
good, no,
Great
great big
dragons
dragons fly around. But if you add the spaces in there, you do the alphabet again. G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. So you do the same process for the bass clef as that we showed you for the treble clef. Is there any questions about how to do the challenge questions, which, by the way, is part of the work? It is not bonus.
Credit. This is
It's
a part of the
it's
assignment.
part of the assignment. Any questions before we turn you guys to do the assignments? Yes, no, maybe so.
No.
No. Okay.
Band, anybody over here?
All right, guys. If you come across something and you need help, most definitely ask. Turn your microphone on. We'll help. Okay.
All right, and as always, guys, peace out. We love you. We'll see you again tomorrow.
Take care, guys. All right, later. I'll figure that out at a certain point.